battle axes at the ready. Oh yeah. So last week I listened to Sabaton for the very first time, and I listened to the track I Emperor, and it was very much a triumphant, mead-swilling march to victory. And yeah, it really was full of marching bravado. And it didn't take long for some very nice Sabaton fans to, kindly offer some advice on what I should listen to next. And there was one song that did pop up a few times, so I thought, let's try it. And it's a song called Swedish Pagans. Yeah. So it was released in 2010 on the Art of War Rearmed album. Rearmed being re-released, because apparently Art of War was originally released in 2008, and this particular track wasn't on it then, but then they re-released it. And yeah, Swedish Pagans. Come on. It can only be about Vikings, right? Come on. Brilliant. Now, actually, I did a deep dive video about the Vikings a while ago. It's kind of done in a very quirky way. So what I'm going to do at the end of my reaction, I'm just going to put in a few clips for you guys if you're interested to watch it. And if you're then interested to see the whole production, I will put a link in the description below. But I'll put a few little snippets at the end of this reaction, and then I'll hop back in afterwards just to say ta-ta, So, get those bear pelts on your backs, swords and shields at the ready, and let's go marauding, shall we? Alrighty. I already hear echoes of Valhalla. And battle drums.
Said, was you hardened in battle, there's no coming back. And before the attack, till your blood starts to boil in your veins as you charge. As the fire inside is ignited by bloodshed, in the circus from north, will it be as was said, will the serpents be woken, Fenrir house, Swedish pagans, marching ashore, forced in Valhalla, the banner of war. Out from Asgard, a Viking ship sails, never to turn back again.
Oh yes, this is very much a song of adventure and warrior brotherhood, right? Those vocals are very rich and guttural. He has a very deep register.
Brothers have heart, is where we will be proven on ground they by blood. Standing tall, and we know if we fall, our comrades awaits in the hall. As the fire inside is ignited by bloodshed, in the circus from north, will it be as was said, will the serpents be woken, Fenrir house, Swedish pagans.
This is the chorus, of course. And strings as well in the background. What's going to happen now? Cool effect. Oh, here we go. Yes, riding the waves on our longboats. You can imagine it, right? that warrior chant, but done in a very choral way. Oh yeah. And off they go into the distance on the horizon, disappearing in the mist, the sea mist. Whoa, okay. Well, that was how could you say, an adventurous jaunt across the icy waters of the North Sea. Yeah, a real kind of Band of Brothers epic kind of thing, right? I mean, the track actually was, it had that kind of, that feel of audacity, but also fun, if you know what I mean. And different to I Emperor, actually, I think there's more emotion in this track, so it kind of triggers the imagination a little bit, you know, because it drives more emotion, I think. And the start, I think, sets the scene, because you have that, as I said, that warrior chanting chorus. It's almost like you can imagine them gathering in this big wooden hall in the middle of a Viking settlement, you know? Like Vikings all together, in life and in death. Because obviously in death, Valhalla was where they would all gloriously end up, I think. Okay, let's have a look at the text. I was following it. The wise woman said, once you're hardened in battle, there's no coming back. And then you have that, the backing vocals. Fight or fall, and before the attack. Feel your blood starts to boil in your veins as you charge. Hundreds fallen, as the fire inside is ignited by bloodshed. In berserkers from north, could it be as was said, when the serpent be woken, Fenrir howls. Yes, Fenrir, that was like a wolf creature, wasn't it, in Norse mythology, Fenrir. And I think, which is a bit of a bizarre thing to think, but I believe Fenrir was like the child of Loki. Yeah, I think. And it had something to do with Ragnarok and Odin dying and all that. But and then we have the chorus. Swedish Pagans marching ashore, forged in Valhalla by the hammer of Thor. Out from Asgard, our Viking ship sails, never turn back again. Even when you read the text, you want to be dramatic, right? So I can, you know, the vocals in this track, they are very rich and deep, and they have a very low register. But I kind of understand it looking at the text, you know. It kind of matches it, right? And I think I said that on the previous reaction to I Emperor, that it was like an unusual vocal style, and maybe it was a Sabaton style, and I'm thinking maybe I was right with that. Unless these are the only two tracks where he does that, and then I'm wrong. But I can see why. Where brothers have fought is where we will be proven on ground-stained blood. Standing tall, and we know if we fall, our comrades await in Valhalla. Odin's call. And then we go back to as the fire inside is ignited by bloodshed. And so on and so forth. I mean, I actually love this whole mystery and adventure around the Vikings, and I mean, I'm actually a pagan myself. I'm a Celt, right? So I so appreciate zoning in on one's heritage and roots. I think that's very cool. So I really like that, you know. So on the history, as I said, I did this little kind of deep dive video, and as I said, it's also quite quirky. Okay, so just have to get used to my sense of humour or the way I deliver it a little bit. But I'll put a few clips in now, and then I'll hop back in at the end just to say bye-bye. And as I said, I'll put the link in the description below as well. So, okay. Ivar the Boneless, the Viking warlord with one of the least intimidating names in Norse history, because it sounds more like a chicken wing special. Born sometime in the 9th century, Ivar was a son of the legendary Ragnar Lothbrok, which basically meant destiny handed him an axe and said, "Go absolutely mental and kill everybody in sight." Which is pretty much what he did, leading the great heathen army across England with the zest of a rabid Rottweiler. Erik was your average Norse overachiever, son of Harald Farhar, axe enthusiast, and part-time king of both Norway and Northumbria. Because apparently one kingdom just wasn't enough for him. His nickname Blood Axe came from his enthusiasm for wanting to swing his axe into all those people he didn't like too much. Needless to say, you didn't want to get on the wrong side of this fella. Erik's approach to leadership was refreshingly direct. Rule first, ask questions never. He was known for settling disputes the old-fashioned way, by making sure the other guy couldn't hold a sword anymore, presumably by using his favoured axe amputation method. After being booted out of Norway, family drama, long story, let's not go there. Back in his Norse homeland, he was quick to play his part in a series of local entanglements. Here, the Norwegian/Danish king and Harald's nephew, Magnus the Good, or Magnus the First of Norway, was fighting off the Danish pretender Sven Estridsson. Initially, Harald and Sven joined forces, but when Magnus offered Harald co-kingship of Norway, he quickly dropped Sven like a sack of spanners. Shortly afterwards, in 1047, Magnus died, and perhaps as a dying wish to put a stop to all this blooming Viking infighting, Magnus willed Norway to Harald, and Sven was left with Denmark. And so Harald became the King of Norway, and started to rule with the gentle touch of a psychotic loon. Naturally, his solution was to discover an even more remote frozen wasteland: Greenland. He named it that to trick settlers into thinking it wasn't a snow-covered death trap, making him the very first real estate scammer in history. "Ah, Greenland," he said, while frostbitten men wept silently behind him, wishing they were back in the slightly warmer climes of Norway. Meanwhile, Churhild, utilising her time on the frozen tundra to spread the word of Christianity to the local reindeer population, commissioned Greenland's very first church. Erik had fiery red hair, a volcanic temper, and an allergy to staying somewhere without starting a fight. Okay, so back again. But yeah, Sabaton, my second track, and Swedish Pagans. I really enjoyed that. That was a good adventurous part of the day for me. Very nice. Yeah, thanks for that advice, guys. Cool.